I love all these little memes and phrases. I always have, little Reader's Digest quotes of the month kind of thing. And I want to talk today about two that appear to be really contradictory, and in some sense they are, but I think they both apply to us a lot. The first one is good is the enemy of great. And the second one is done is better than perfect. And what happens with us sometimes, we hear a phrase, we don't really put it into context. So let's talk about good is the enemy of great first. Good is the enemy of great. What it ultimately means is this. Sometimes if we're good at something, it prevents us from being great at it because it's good enough. And there are times in life that's fine. If I want to play golf recreationally and I'm good, and because I'm good enough to play, it keeps me from really ever becoming great if I could be great. But it may be that becoming great is not a goal of mine, it's just a recreational thing. And I would now have to put in an inordinate amount of time to shave a few strokes off to be considered a great amateur golfer. But frankly, a great amateur golfer doesn't really make any more money than a decent amateur golfer. You always play with a handicap, and you can win either way. On the other hand, if you're a good DJ, but you could be a great DJ, there's a significant difference in how much you get paid. Good DJs, and listen, these numbers may be different in different parts of the country and wherever you're at, but a good DJ is probably going to make $800 to $1,500 for an event. That's probably what a good DJ is typically going to get. Great DJs probably are going to start at about $1,500 and go up from there. That's a significant difference. I mean, you're talking about if you're doing 40 events a year and you're getting an extra $500 per event as a minimum, you're making an extra $20,000 a year, and realistically, you're probably making $1,000 more per event. And if you're doing 40 events a year, you're making $40,000 a year difference by being great instead of good. Well, how do you become great? Well, you work at it. We've talked more about skill versus talent. You can only do so much with your talent. I can't sing, so I can practice singing forever. I'm never going to be a good singer. That's not a talent that I have. But a skill might be mixing music. A skill is what you can do on a microphone. I can't make my voice sound any better than this in terms of the tone, the richness, all of that. I suppose I can work on that a little, but I can't significantly change what that is. I can, however, change my ability to deliver applause lines and to evoke emotion. So I can become great just by putting that into a play. So good is the enemy of great. The problem is at the end of the night, people say, hey, you were terrific. You were a great DJ. But listen, you got to look at other DJs. You got to go on YouTube and see what's out there. And I'm telling you, the bar is set so low that we think great is, Mark Farrell calls it DJ great or DJ good. Like, there's so much room to be so much better than what you are. So don't let good keep you from being great, because the money is in great. Now, the flip side of that is done is better than perfect. I first heard this from Matt Radicelli. I'm sure he got it somewhere else. And the context of it is simply this. Sometimes we don't move forward with things that we should move forward on because we're waiting for it to be perfect. And, a simple example is we're going to put up a new website, but it's not perfect. And so we're waiting for the perfect picture or the perfect phrasing before we even put the website up. Get it up. And then once you've got the website up, you can tweak it around a little bit more, but done is better than perfect. You can at least get moving on projects. And that applies to a lot of marketing kinds of things. But listen, maybe there's a class that you want to take and it's not available right now. It's an improv class, but there's another improv class that's not quite as good. Go ahead and take it now. You can always go do the other one later, but you can make some progress in the meantime. So get something started, get something finished. If you're not as great as you'd like to be at writing scripts, just start writing scripts. You'll get better as you go. And don't go out there and deliver a bad performance, but good is better than bad. It's maybe the enemy of great, but it's better than bad. So start with those two premises. Don't let perfection keep you from becoming really good at something. Don't wait for it to be perfect. You'll get there eventually, or as close as you can. So work on that. But in the meantime, don't get content with, hey, it's good enough. Because it's never really good enough. There's always room for improvement. And for us, for the selfish, egotistical point of view, it's so much better to rock an event, right? We all know that. Isn't it better when you know that every time you speak, the entire audience cheers and goes crazy? When you play a song, they go nuts, they cheer, they dance. That's so much better than a group of people that do nothing. You have ultimate control over that. When I first started out, some of my crowds danced a lot and some of it didn't. And I said, wow, that was a good crowd, that was a bad crowd. And there are good crowds and there are bad crowds, but the reality is a great DJ can take every crowd and move it up several notches, right? So I don't ever get a crowd anymore where they don't cheer at the welcoming. It just doesn't happen because I know how to deliver an opening applause line. But for the first many years that I was a DJ, that was hit and miss. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. So good is the enemy of great. Don't let good stop you from being great. Done is better than perfect. Don't let perfection stop you from moving forward.